Fernando Reis responds, Meredith Alwyn PRs again, Nathan Damron analyses your squats, and the Black Friday sale starts now. Hello and welcome back to this week's episode of the Weightlifting House News Show, the only weightlifting news show in the world. Okay, so the first thing I want to just mention very quickly, and we'll get through this part as fast as possible, is that Black Friday sales have started right now. Literally at the moment that this went live, the store now has a 20% off everything sale. That doesn't include bars and plates because we don't have any bars and plates available. They're still in transit. We're still waiting on those. If you've ordered, you should have been receiving emails. But everything else, books, hoodies, hats, posters, flags, thumb tape, straps, everything else is 20% off. This hoodie actually was supposed to be a black on black. It's come out slightly off. Fortunately, I got this made in advance, so the actual ones that are now on the website, this logo, this WHMMXV here, is darker, so it is more of a black on black rather than right now what looks like a grey on black, I suppose. But everything else is 20% off, so head over to weightliftinghouse.com. The links are down below, and you can grab some stuff for a pretty good deal. Oh, and before I forget, if you are planning on ordering some stuff from Virus, which I do pretty regularly these days, you can use discount code WeightliftingHouse. That will give you 10% off. That's an additional 10% off to all of the discounts that they already have going on for their Black Friday also. So this is actually a relatively short episode of the Weightlifting News Show. Not a huge amount happened last week. Fortunately, the USA's number 1 or 2 squatter, Nathan Damron, saves the day. We did a podcast with him a couple of days ago. We filmed the whole thing. And so for the people's lifts this week, I've had him come on. I've grabbed some of the best squats that you guys have sent in over the last week, and he has gone through, and we've done a, what did we call it? It wasn't trash or pass. It was it might have been trash or class, I think, was the way that we decided to vote on whether the squat was good or not. So that's going to be the people's lifts at the end of this episode. We're going to start this week by talking about 3 teenage female weightlifters who are all absurdly strong. The first, and of course she needs absolutely no introduction at this point, from South Korea, is Jeong. She's the youth world record holder in the snatch and clean and jerk, and because it's been so long since she's been able to compete at an official IWF competition, she hasn't been able to be extending those snatch and clean and jerk world records that she owns. But she's done so many national internal competitions at this point that don't count, that her snatch and clean and jerk competition numbers are going up, even if the record books suggest otherwise. At 17 years of age, she competed once again, and she went 122, 157, 12 kilos up on her snatch world record, and 17 kilos up on her youth world record clean and jerk also. The next teenage phenomenon, we have actually the strongest female weightlifter in the world, Wenwen from China, 19 years of age, and I don't know whether this video was old or new, but it was posted just recently by Shenzhen Weightlifting, so I'm going to go ahead and say that it's pretty recent. A 240 kilo pull. Now, the strange thing with Wenwen is, obviously she holds all of the world records, a snatch, clean and jerk and total. Nobody outlifts her currently. Of course, Tatiana has outlifted her in the past, and in fact, so have a few of her fellow countrywomen have outlifted her in the past in the clean and jerk. But currently, in this new 87 plus kilo category, she is unbeatable, it would seem. But her strength lifts are actually slightly below many others. I mean, she can't squat as much as Jeong. She can't squat as much of Charisma Amo Tarrant from Australia, who just hit 225 for a triple. Well, maybe she can do that, but not easily. She can't squat more than Tatiana Katrina, and yet she's able to hit these enormous snatch and clean and jerk numbers. And so this 240 kilo pull, whilst we may be able to see this sort of lift from a couple of other weightlifters, it's nice to see her actually being right at the top echelon of the strength rather than just her snatch and clean and jerks. Okay, moving over now to Japan, to someone who is at the top echelons of strength and maybe the mid echelons of actual numbers in the snatch and clean and jerk. Maybe mid's a little bit too harsh. We have Toshiki Senpai Yamamoto, 96 kilo thick boy, who just hit a 170 kilo PR in the snatch. Now that puts him at 170, 215 as his 2 best lifts in training. In competition, I think he still sits somewhere around the 66, 211 kind of mark, which is obviously pretty good, but it's just not quite in that top echelon, along with guys like Tian Tao or Mezzo Hosono, or even guys like Boady Santavi and Anton Plesnoy. Next from Japan, we have Hiroaki Shiraishi, 109 kilo weightlifter who just hit a 202.5 kilo snatch balance. Now, considering his best snatch, I think in competition, actually sits around internationally 165. He did at the 2019 World Champs. I think he did 170 last week. So as a percentage of his snatch, it's pretty decent. Obviously, it's just very slightly over the world record, but worth a mention in a relatively down week of training for the world. So earlier this week, I saw a video from Ruslan Nurudinov from Uzbekistan, and as per our new rules at Weightlifting House, which is that we will report on lifts from athletes that are recognised as official competitors by the IWF, i.e. anyone who is currently serving a ban, we won't necessarily talk about their lifts unless they are now featured in the people's list, I suppose is the caveat there. And so I'm not going to report on the lift that I've seen. You can check that one out. But what I did then do is I thought, okay, well, Ruslan Nurudinov, he's been out for a while. He was banned in, I think he was banned in 2018, but it was a 2017 positive, or maybe it was a 2017 positive from 2016, something like that. And I just wanted to see, so I had a little look, and it turns out that his ban ends on the 17th of December of this year. So less than a month from now, his ban ends on the same day 2012 ex-gold medalist Alexei Turokty's ban also ends. So I doubt we're going to see Turokty try and make some kind of comeback because, let's face it, he's doing so well in the business world outside of the sport that he really doesn't need to go through the suffering again. But based on the numbers that I saw Ruslan doing, I thought, you know what, maybe he's actually trying to plan some kind of comeback for the following quad. Estonia's Mart Seim just hit 110 kilos for a set of 6 in the muscle snatch, and I think some of them were from the low hang. Last week I posted a video of him doing, 300 kilos in the back squat for a high rep set. Maybe it was a set of 8, I think it was, and then I talked about what that predicted, which is totally irrelevant because sets of 8 are very difficult to predict 1RMs with, and so I'm not going to try and speculate a 1RM in the muscle snatch with 110, but I thought that was pretty cool to see. Again, one of the guys, I suppose a little bit like the Toshiki Senpai Yamamoto type lifters, who is incredibly strong. The actual numbers maybe don't quite ever get them into the medal contention, at least in the total at a world level, though of course they do at continental meets or maybe in individual lifts. But 110 for 6 from the low hang muscle snatch is really impressive. Then I thought I'd couple into talking about Mart Seim, I'd bring in Fernando Reis, even though we're in the wrong continent right now, because he also did another muscle snatch. Last week, or was it the week before, Fernando hit 140 for a double in the muscle snatch, and I mentioned on the show, I compared it to Lasher, and I brought up the fact that, there's a difference there. Fernando's feet stretch apart, his center of gravity, or at least his hips, drop ever so slightly, so there's some level of going under the bar, even though it's not from a rebend of the knees. Even so, I acknowledged just how ridiculously impressive it was, and so he DM'd me the other day, and he said, I just hit 150, and he sent me the video, and he said, I hope you like that. I did this one sort of, I wanted to show you that I could do 150 too, and I was obviously blown away. I told him that I thought it was pretty sick. He then posted it up, so I can now share that video with you, which is awesome. So yes, Fernando Reis just hit 150, which is equal to the most we've seen from Lasher too. What was the one we saw from Lasher? Let's do this very quickly. 1 second. Talakadze Lasher _official if you want to check out this page. Okay, so it's 150 kilos. That will be playing next to me right now. 28th of March if you want to check it out. 150 kilo muscle snatch. It's blooming impressive. It's no contact. It might be no hook, but it's pretty damn good. And he celebrates as though it's something pretty special for him too. Of course, Vasily Polovnikov, the 105 from Russia, who actually, nice little factoid for you, I guess, the 94 kilo clean and jerk national record holder, Vasily Polovnikov. He's done 151 kilos, so he's actually done a little bit more than them both. But I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go so far as to say that I think Fernando could definitely do 55. Like, that 50 moved quicker than maybe the second rep of the 40. So I think he's got some more in him. Maybe this is going to be enough to sort of goad him out and make him try and do it. I know he watches the show, so Fernando, if you're watching, we're all waiting for the 55. No, we're all waiting for the 52. I think the 52 will beat Polovnikov, and that's basically the heaviest we're ever going to see. So Fernando, if you can do 52, I'll mention it. I'll send a copy of it over to Lasher or some of his associates so that it reaches Lasher, and maybe we'll get another battle between you and Lasher going. Over now to Bulgaria, and we very rarely have Bulgaria on the podcast these days. Gone are the glory days of Team Bulgaria, well, I suppose really the dirty days of Team Bulgaria, to be quite frank. But they do still have a few incredible lifters. Of course, Bozidar Andreev is perhaps the most notable of them right now. But there is a younger lifter at 109 who I've mentioned a couple of times, who occasionally sends me videos. He doesn't post them, so there's not a huge amount I can talk about with him. But finally he decided to actually post one of these lifts. I am, of course, talking about David Fischer, who was actually born in Austria. I think he then competed for Austria for quite a while before moving to Bulgaria to compete with Team Bulgaria. He just posted a video of a 300 kilo back squat double. We've seen him in the past. He's snatched 190, he's cleaned 230. I believe he's jerked 240 out the racks. And this 300 kilos is really impressive for him to get that for 2. He's shown me a video of himself doing it for 1 in the past. And he's never been an incredibly strong lifter. I love the valgus. I love the knees knocking together. It's very Hisen Palaku. It's very Bulgarian. I like that sort of stuff a lot. But yeah, 300 kilos for a double from David Fischer is amazing. And now already in the show, we're already moving over to the USA. And we're going to start off with the person who's going to end the show with the people's lifts. We've got Nathon Damron. Now, this week, Nathon did a 290 kilo back squat incredibly fast. He snatched a new PR of 166 kilos, and he did that after quite a few, he snatched 165 when he was last at Cal Strength. He goes back to Cal Strength, hit 66, and I guess if you want to learn all of the ins and outs of why that happened and how that happened and why his progress is suddenly started climbing again, and just more about his life, his best lifts, his 110 kilo strict press that he told us about, then you will have to check out the podcast that we just did. I'm probably uploading it today, the day of recording, so by the time you watch this, it will be live, as is the Black Friday sales at weightliftinghouse.com. Check those out. But anyway, really fantastic interview, really fantastic guy, and certainly worth checking out that. But if you're not following Nathon right now, please do, because his progress is flying. He's looking tremendous. Now, from the guy who I think many people call the best squatter in the USA to, I think, maybe actually the best squatter in the USA, it's CJ Cummings. Now, we're comparing apples and pears here, back squats and front squats. You know, Nathon's front squat isn't much better than CJ Cummings' front squat, which is why I've kind of got to give it to CJ, because it's a more applicable lift to weightlifting. But CJ Cummings just hit 180 kilos for a double, and a proper double, not a clean jerk, not a clean jerk, not a 1+2 or a 2+1. It's a 2+2 or a 1+1+1+1. It's a clean jerk. 180 kilos, 18 kilos under the world record, 19 kilos under Jeong's 199 that he did at a national competition. But even so, it's over 90%. It's only 14 kilos under CJ's best ever lift, and it looked phenomenal. I mean, the guy is a complete legend. He's so unbelievably impressive, and he shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. And I mean, really, he's only got, I suppose, 9 months before he has to put forward the performance of a lifetime if he is to try and seal a medal at the Olympics, which is certainly doable. It's within his grasp, but he's not going to get it with a 4-for-6 kind of day. So CJ's doing everything he can right now, it seems, to up those numbers. And then finally from the USA, a lift that just totally shocked me, but kind of blew my mind. Meredith Alwyn just PR'd a snatch again. She hit 103 or 105 in Rome? She hit one of those numbers. It was a PR. She then hit 106 a couple of weeks ago for another PR. She's just added 4 more kilos to 110. And it was the first of those kind of snatches where I looked at it and I thought, I think you just basically hit your limit for what you're capable of now, finally. And that's not to discredit in any way. That's just to say that she's always made her lifts look so good, so fluid, so easy. And this was the first one where I thought, yeah, you've actually shown us what I think you've always been capable, which is really awesome to see. Hugely impressed with Meredith. I've also done a podcast with Meredith, so you can check that out, though it's probably a couple years old at this point, maybe a year and a half, something like that. But amazing work to Meredith. Very excited to see what she can do at the USA Nationals, assuming she's competing. I believe she is, which are now obviously happening virtually rather than in person. They got cancelled as the in-person meet, but they're still going to go ahead virtually. So excited to see what she can do there. And then finally, moving over to Canada, we have Boady Santavi, 96 kilo Boady, the best snatcher in Pan American history, let's be honest. 225 kilos for 5 in the front squat. Absolutely incredible. Wait, is Boady the best snatcher in Pan American history, or did I just speak too soon? I'm trying to think who could rival him. Oscar Chaplin snatched 165 at 85. Boady's a 96. He snatched 78 in competition. I think that's a better Sinclair. It might be Boady. I think it... Ooh. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I might have spoken too soon. Best snatcher in US and Canadian history. I'll come back to you about the Pan American. 225 kilos for a set of 5 in the front squat, and he's jacked up when he does it. He also snatched 170, which is almost not even news for Boady at this point because he just does it so frequently. But always impressed, eternally impressed with his lifting. All right, guys, and that is actually it. I'm going to pass the baton over to my previous self from a few days ago as I spoke with Nathan Damron. We grab your lifts, the hashtag the people's lift, that's the way that you get on the show. We went through them. Because he's such a good squatter, I let him kind of talk about these lifts. Joined with me, of course, is Joshua Gibson, aka the People Scientist, who, if you're a podcast listener, you know. If you're a Patreon fan, you know. But I suppose he doesn't actually appear on the YouTube channel too often, so some of you may not actually know Josh. But he's a people scientist, so you really should. Guys, make sure you head over to weightliftinghouse.com. The sale starts now and it ends on Monday night. It's 20% off all books, all straps, all posters, all calendars, all flags, all clothes. The new hoodie and t-shirt combo, this black on black. The actual one, and you'll be able to see it in the image. This logo will be darker. I wanted to have it so that it would actually come out a little bit even darker. But for some reason the print didn't come out quite right, so we've had that redone, and the other ones actually look great. I just don't have it with me, but you'll be able to see how it actually looks on the website. And I think that's everything. Enjoy the rest of the conversation with Nathan Damron. Okay, guys, so welcome back to another episode of Trash or Class, as Josh just described it. Nathan Damron here, the arguably best, though we haven't quite worked it out, best or second best squatter in the USA. He's up against CJ Cummings' 255 front squat, which is just nuts. But of course, Nathan, 96 kilo lifter, squatted 320 as a 94, which is absurd, and is now here to analyze your squats. If you want to check out the full episode that we did with I can't speak at all, with Nathan, where he explains why he hates Max Ater and why he loves Dave Spitz, then you can check that out on the Weightlifting House podcast. Okay, so we've got a few lifts today from people who've sent them in. They've used the hashtag the people's lifts, and I've just decided, well, why not pick 5 squat videos and show them to the number 1 or number 2 squatter in USA weightlifting. So Nathan, what I'm going to do is play a squat, we'll watch it through, and then I'll full screen us and we can have a very quick chat about the squat and you can say what you think. All right, here's the first one. This is from Swole Hill. Swole Hill. Yeah. Swole with an H-I-L at the end. All right, here we go. This is 107 kilos, by the way. 2 kilos under his PR. But he's 20 pounds lighter when he hit that.
Yeah, it looks like a lightweight lifter.
Oh, wow.
Good grind.
Damn. Oh, my word. All right. What do you think of that?
It was a pretty good looking squat. Looked like he got a little loose with his upper body at one point, but it's good to be hitting that close to his max down on body weight.
Right. I mean, that was pretty deep.
Yeah, I'll say class.
Yeah. Josh, class or trash?
I'll also say class and just echo what Nathan said. Just a little loose coming out of the bottom, but great depth, great push through the sticking point.
Sweet. All right, I'll say trash just to just to like not let the guy get too cocky. No, it's a great squat.
Two to one.
Weight. Yeah, we'll give him a 2 to 1. Two whites on that lift. Okay, let's share screen again. All right, the next lift is actually on Josh's page, where Josh is... In fact, Josh, why don't you explain what this lift is?
Yeah, it's just I think it was a 4 kilo PR set of 5 for Allie. She's a 64 kilo lifter, so this is 105 for 5. And yeah, she had it in mind. She threw it on the bar, and you'll see what happens.
All right, we can be particularly stern about this because it's Josh's coaching, so we can rinse the technique here if we want to.
I mean, that's great spotting technique.
Nice. There we go.
What do you think, Nathan?
That was a good looking set of squats. I think the only thing wrong was the spotting.
Oh yeah, the spotting was trash.
The spotting was trash.
3 red lights on the spotting, but 3 whites on the yeah. I guess you obviously. I mean, we've spoken so much about your squatting in this episode, but you're a shorter femored guy, and Ali is a longer femored lady. Do you have any recommendations for people with longer femurs?
I would say maybe pointing the toes out a little bit if you have longer legs. Because I see a lot of people with long legs kind of squatting with that like squared up stance, and then they end up like it's almost like their legs get in their way.
Right.
You just need to get your legs kind of pointing out a little bit. But you don't really need to go with too wide of a stance because I know that's pretty difficult for people with longer legs sometimes. But yeah, mainly toe angle. Just making sure you keep your back from dropping as much as you can. I don't have much experience in squatting with long legs, so.
If any at all.
Yeah.
This is Full Beef McKinnon. Maybe his name is Full Beef and his last name is McKinnon. I don't know, but he used the right hashtag, so he's on the show. 165. Yeah, 165 by 5 front squat. It's not a bad set of 5 actually.
No, 5's in the front squat's brave.
Yeah, that is brave. Oh, he's got those short legs as well. I like that. Great ankle mobility too.
Yep.
All right, this is a joke for a set of 5. What do we reckon his 1 RM is? It's got to be over 200.
That's
200.
Yeah. You said this was a PR or no?
No, I thought it's got to be at least 210. Let's just whip it through his profile quickly. See if we can see any heavy front squats.
Yeah.
155. Oh, he's coached by Seeker Strength.
Nice.
We like those guys.
Shout
Owen Murphy, a very strong squatter. Similar build to Nathan, I suppose. Well, I don't know what his squat is, but he's clearly a lot stronger than he's letting on. Two sets of 6 in the back squat at 182.
I mean,
but that's easy for him.
Laughingly light.
Well, guys, go work out for yourself what Full Beef McKinnon, aka Aaron McKinnon, squats on Instagram. Let's head over to the next one then. We have Jack_Barcena, Barcena. He says squats are starting to move up again. Had some fun and hit a bit over double body weight today. 150 kilos at 74. Well, we found out earlier in this podcast that Nathan squatted triple body weight at 14 years of old. So, Jack, we're not that impressed. But even so, oh, no, this is the front squat, to be fair. This is the front squat. Okay, so 150 at 74. Oh, I'm a big fan of that.
That's a good looking squat.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm going to watch that again. Oof. I mean, there's not a lot to say about that. Let's stop the screenshot there. Class or trash?
It was class.
I think it's class too. I say that's a good representation of what Nathan just said. He turned his toes out, kept his knees open, and held position really well. Great lift.
He stayed very upright. That's a thing that you just can't do in the front squat. As soon as the hips go back too much, I can get away with it if you're a little longer limbed, but as soon as the hips go back and the torso comes forward, it's just a killer. All right, you got 3 passes from us. All right, final one. Here we go. So this is Solana_lifts. It looks like a low bar. So I'm interested to hear about, Nathan, what you think about this. I don't think it doesn't say the weight anywhere. Looks like maybe
like
2 slabs and a 10. Yeah, could be.
275.
It's at least, yeah, 275-ish. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's see.
Maybe 365.
Maybe. You know, she does a great job of not shooting her knees back too fast out the hole. Like, if you watch this first rep again, like, they come back at the same speed that they move forward, which is a big max A to Q.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, she's good patient in the bottom. Didn't start didn't tighten up. Let herself sit into it.
Mm-hmm. You ever tried the low bar?
That's what I was going to ask. Son of a gun.
I have low barred twice. And
to what end?
I tried to do 585 and missed it, and it was
really
sketchy. This was back when I was in 85.
Okay, so that was actually pretty close to your 600-pound-ish PR at that time.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I remember Travis saying that your plan was, after your career in weightlifting, you would try to break the powerlifting world record squat. Is that still in your future?
Possibly. Yeah, we'll see. I've always kind of been. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of different records, but just to see how much I could squat.
Do you have a feel for, if you didn't have to focus so much on being fresh enough to snatch and clean and jerk and execute those lifts relatively well, do you have a feel for what you think you could squat if for the next couple of years you just went all out?
I'm not sure. Probably quite a bit. I feel like
so.
Yeah. Usually if I pull back on the Olympic lifts, then my squats go up pretty fast.
Yeah.
So if I didn't do them at all, I don't know, I feel like I could hit 340 pretty quick if I was able to put my time into it.
That's pretty spicy. But if you do it, make sure you use the hashtag the people's lifts, and if you're lucky enough, I might put it on the show.
Yeah.
Then people might start knowing who you are, Nathan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a lot of fun. Guys, hope you enjoyed watching Nathan analyze your lifts. And Nathan, thanks again for doing that. And I guess this will now head back to me finishing the news show, which is going to be a really weird transition, but we'll see how it goes. All right, and that is the end of this week's episode of the Weightlifting House news show. Hugely appreciate you guys tuning in. Hope you enjoyed watching Nathan talk about your squats. Head over to patreon.com, and for the price of a Mocha Frappa Latticino, you get access to more stuff than I care to admit. Head over to weightliftinghouse.com, grab yourself loads of weightlifting cool stuff, and of course use discount code weightliftinghouse at Virus International to get an additional 10% on their sale. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all next week.